Today we are going to talk about a very interesting case study, and I'm pretty sure all of you not just have heard the name but have also heard about all the recent news that has been going throughout. Well, today we are going to talk about Byju and how it was built, what happened to it, why did its valuation drop, and what can we learn out of this edtech company. We'll start with the recent news where HSBC just declared that once a $22 billion company Byju is currently worth nothing. One of its famous investor BlackRock has also separately written off the investment. The write-down in their estimation makes Byju one of the most spectacular startup slides in the recent memory. Well, if we see this Bangalore-based startup, which was once India's most valuable startup, is struggling to meet its financial reporting deadlines, ultimately falling short of its revenue projections by more than 50%. And not just this, but the abrupt resignations by the auditors and the board members has eventually contributed to a downfall of $1 billion as well. But it is interesting to know that how did Byju, that was once such a successful startup which eventually derailed, to come to a position where it is worth nothing. So let's move back and let's understand how did Byju actually start, what were the founders doing before. Well, Byju's story began when Byju Ravindran, an engineer, started teaching mathematics in 2006. And in 2007, he opened his own coaching center for all the aspirants who were trying to crack MBA, which is also known as CAT. Fast forward in 2011, Byju Ravindran, along with his wife Divya Gokulnath, started a company called Think and Learn Private Limited, which is behind Byju. The company initially started with offline coaching centers, but then realized the potential of online learning, and that is when they launched Byju's learning app in 2015, where they were offering video learning courses for all K-12 and competitive exams. Then back again after the online platform, they switched to offline coaching centers, which was also called Byju's Tuition Centers in 2022, where they raised the tuition centers from 250 to 500. It was also claimed to be one of the largest edtech companies with almost 150 million users learning with them. But the things did not look nice, and the downfall of the company started happening when they failed to release the results for the financial year 2022, and later they released it after 18 months. The company still needs to produce its 2023 financial results. Not just this, but it also got itself in laying off almost 5,000 employees, which later decreased the valuation of the company even more. And it also defaulted on loans taken from US lenders. But when Byju started as such a successful edtech company, has almost 150 million users, what actually went wrong for them? So let's understand a few pointers which led to the downfall of Byju as an organization. Number one, Byju's strategy heavily invested in so many acquisitions for the company. They actually wanted to guarantee a lot of success to the company, but it led them to a mountain of debt. Some of their famous acquisitions is White Hat Junior, Akash Learning Institute, Great Learning, Epic, Osmo, and Tutor Vista and EduBrite. With so many acquisitions, they spent $1 million of money just to expand their business. Second, heavily investing on marketing. The company poured in resources for celebrity endorsements for creating a solid brand value, but instead they should have invested more on creating a stable business model. Number three, a lack of transparency in sharing their financial reports. This has been their biggest red flag. Also, when the auditors started resigning in 2023, it raised concerns and definitely made people's trust in the company go away. Number four, we all know that Byju became such a big sensation for online learning because of COVID. But when the COVID era faded away, the entire idea of getting Byju's online platform for learning also faded away. Number 5, and I'm sure this reason probably all of us have either heard of or experienced it firsthand, which is getting pressurized into buying their courses. Their sales strategy has been so aggressive that it finally eroded Byju's image also as an edtech platform. Number 6, Byju initially wanted it to be a big online platform, but due to lack of internet access, they were not able to expand in a lot of places. And when this started taking a lot of power, there were so many competitors on the land that again, for them to stand out, they started depending a lot on the marketing campaigns. Number 7, there was just so much debt that was accumulating, and their revenue streams were also not going great, which put Byju's in a difficult financial position. And that is when they resorted to some cost-cutting solutions like laying off employees and getting asset sales. Number 8, and not a lot of people might know, but within Byju's there were so many reports where the staff was not being treated well. They were getting long working hours. They were expected to make a certain number of sales, and week on week the pressure kept on increasing on the employees. In fact, in some instances, because of this humongous pressure, employees resorted to such instances where they sold the courses to their own family and friends, later cancelled it, but showed it as a sales payment. And the last point, it is not far away that in February 2024, there were reports of expulsion of Byju Ravindran from the position of the CEO. Well, he refuted those claims, but there were reports that were claiming this to be true. And one thing led to another. That is when US bankruptcy court also imposed penalties on Byju Ravindran, director of Byju's Institute, only because he refused to disclose the location of $533 million in terms of loan proceeds. Once Byju Ravindran was the poster boy of Byju's as a company, everyone knew him and his wife, but just last year has proved to be very fatal for the company. Today, Think and Learn Private Limited is in urgent need of funds and is facing huge financial losses as well. And this is not just about losing your company to debts, but even when your revenue is not increasing, you are kind of moving towards a downfall. If we go through the audited financial statements of the financial year 2021 to 2022, they reported a loss of over 5,000 crores, which clearly shows us that how such a successful platform was actually suffering from a bad financial health. Well, this makes us realize that what are the lessons to be learned here. The first is balanced growth. If you move towards organic growth than making aggressive sales call to have acquisition of customers or users, it's going to deteriorate the performance of your own company. Second is ethical business practices. Creating a positive environment and following ethics is really important. Third is financial transparency. Reporting finances on time and maintaining them is an important factor as well. Number 4 is adaptability. If you are a company who was working when it was COVID or in different situations, you need to pivot to the idea of what is working currently. And number 5, making sure that you do not spend as a company a lot of money on building brand value or spending a lot of money on marketing campaigns, because Shah Rukh Khan can make Byju's go from year to year, but when you are on the path of downfall, no Shah Rukh Khan can actually save you. Well, there is also a very interesting book on this entire turn of events which Byju's went through, which is called The Learning Trap. I would recommend, if you are interested, if you are someone who wants to know what actually went inside the company, then it is a must read. You will understand how employees were treated, what all happened, and how once a famous company went to rocks. Well, if you liked this case study and want to know more about the finances of any company, I would suggest please comment. Let me know which is the next company you would want to know about.